Mick, I'm so glad that you joined me. I want to hear about your life story. You and I met each other years ago, talked on the phone a few times, talked on the phone recently. This is the post-COVID world. And so now I'm here to even dive deeper into your life, your story. So I don't want you to hold nothing back, okay?
All right. You said so. So I'm gonna follow suit. And yeah, Kirk, I appreciate you having me over and doing this podcast. It's an honor.
Yeah, we got some ground to cover here.
Yeah.
So let's go back. Let's go to the beginning. Then we're gonna come into the what brought us here today.
Sure.
In this moment. So where'd you grow up?
So I was actually born just a few miles away from here at Holy Cross Hospital.
Oh, yeah.
And I grew up in Maryland. I was born and raised here. My parents came down from New York. Both of them lived in the city. My dad lived in all the boroughs in New York growing up, and decided to move down here to start working and everything. And so yeah, I lived here all my life. I went to school here, went to high school in Columbia. My wife and I met in Columbia in high school. We actually started dating in high school, and we got married 3 months after we graduated. So we have quite a bit of an unconventional story, and it starts with that, right?
How long ago was that you guys got married?
So that was in 1998. We graduated in May, and we were married in August.
Wow.
Yeah. So back then we were like super religious, and we were Christian, and we believed that if we were going to be together, we had to be married. So we got married. We had our first kid about a year and a half later, or actually right about a year later. And then by the time we were 23, we had 3 kids. So it was. Is
that the total set now? 23. You got 3.
Yeah.
At 23, you got 3 kids, and you stayed with 3. No other people jumped in.
No other people jumped in, which is very, very good and exciting. But I think that one of the things that makes my life a little bit different is we just kind of heaped a bunch of responsibility on our shoulders really, really young. So, I had to start working, and I knew that I didn't want to go to school. I wanted to start my own business. I always knew that I wanted to have my own business. But back then, my parents, they said, well, if you're not going to go to college, then we're not going to support you financially, right? Like they had money saved up for me to go to college, which, was a blessing, but they were like, hey, if you're not going to do it our way or the traditional way, then, we love you and we'll support you with that, but no money, unfortunately. So
yeah. So at that point, you had to roll up your sleeves. So let's go back. What inspired you of all the things that you can do in life? What inspired you to start your own business? Why was that in you?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like I always wanted to own my own restaurant when I was a kid. Right. I loved to cook, and I just thought that, I would own a restaurant, but then that didn't happen. But there's lots of years in the future ahead of me to be able to figure that out one day.
That could still be a future thing.
Yeah, maybe my retirement business. But I think, Kirk, I think it was, I just wanted to be like my own person. I didn't want to have to follow somebody else's set of rules. I wanted to chart my own course and make whatever I wanted happen.
So what business did you jump into?
Well, so at first I went to work for my brother-in-law, my wife's sister's husband. He has a pretty big tile company out of East Baltimore. And so I learned the trade. I worked for a couple of his subs for a few years. And then after a while, he said I was good enough to get my own tools and go out there and do it on my own. And so I did. I went and I subbed for him for a few years, and then after that, I started getting my own contracts and all of that stuff. But what happened was I was a little bit of an arrogant kid, and I didn't want to ask anybody for help. And we were doing pretty okay with the tile business at first, but we just weren't cutting it all the way, right? We weren't making all the ends meet, as you could say. And so I actually started selling weed for a little bit of extra money.
Is that right?
Yeah. And
so it's still entrepreneurial, but back then it wasn't legal.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, so
now I'm not even sure We're in Bethesda, Maryland. For those people who don't know, it's
Yeah.
the D.C. area, and the laws are changed. I grew up in the Reagan drug war, just say no kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'm not sure every state's doing its own thing.
Yeah.
You know, the cannabis. So you started selling weeds.
Yeah, it's
so how did that go?
Yeah, well, it depends. It depends on how you look at it. It went really, really well, but then that turned really, really bad at the same. A few years later at the same time. So,
What turned bad? Did you get arrested or anything?
Yeah. So at first, it started by I just needed to get a couple $100 extra a month to pay the bills and keep the lights on. The beginning of the story is the lights got turned off. BG&E shut off the electricity because we couldn't pay the bill one month, and so
that's stressful beyond belief. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. And I had a little. He was about a year old, maybe year and a half. My son, my first son. So my son's playing on the on the floor with his toys and whatnot, and then the house goes dark. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I looked around and I said, hey, this is never going to happen again. So, started out by making a couple $100 a month, and me being the, having the entrepreneurial spirit, I guess you could say, it sort of spiraled into quite a network and a pretty, decent sized business. And did that for about 7 or 8 years, and the inevitable happened, got arrested and had to do a little jail time, and that sort of changed everything for me. I have a felony conviction. I wasn't able. A lot of the tile work that I was doing was through contracting through the big box stores, and when you do that, you have to pass a background check to be able to go into people's homes through their name, right?
Yeah,
And
that's
so,
right, yeah.
so I wasn't able to do that anymore, and you might imagine. We lost everything, so I had to take my family, and we owned our own house. We had 2 successful businesses. Obviously, one was legal, one was not. We were making a really great living, and then we lost everything financially. So I lost my home, lost all of our income, and had to move my wife and 3 kids into my mom's basement.
Yeah.
And so that was like this was.
And how old were you at that point?
I was 27.
27.
This was
still a young man cutting his teeth. How to be useful.
Yeah. So it was 2008. Where that summer that we had to go and move into my mom's house, right? And so thank God.
I remember 2008. There was a whole housing market thing going on. And recession.
I
remember that quite well.
Yeah. So I mean, the economy was, like you said, it was pretty wacky, and it was kind of falling apart. And for us personally, it was definitely falling apart, right? And so. Yeah, I was pretty upset with myself at that point in time, and upset with life, and I was just trying to figure it out, and so I had to, I really had to just kind of get myself together and get back on my feet and move forward.
It's funny when you tell the story, because man, it's tough when a breadwinner can't pay the bills. I mean, I've been different places in my own life, out of the Army, out of grad school, got married when I had $200 kind of thing. And man, it was unbelievably tough. And even to this day, the reason why I'm big on financial freedom is because, man, it is not fun when the bill collectors are calling and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then when you're telling your story, you took a shortcut. Right?
Yeah.
You're under pressure, you took a shortcut.
Yeah.
And I learned the hard way that taking, every time I try to take a shortcut, like to build a business, I email too much.
Yeah.
And then I get caught into spamming.
Yeah.
Right? Then I get set back, right? And that's just a simple shortcut. But every time I take a shortcut, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, that's very well said. I think that's true pretty much 100% of the time. And I think that what you said is brilliant. Like, you had to learn the hard way, I had to learn the hard way. Most of us have to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so even the folks that are watching this video or listening to this podcast, they might be like, "Oh, well, maybe I can still take a shortcut." No, don't do it.
Yeah,
don't take a shortcut.
Collaborate, definitely.
Yeah.
It's interesting, almost like you talk about from a spiritual standpoint. It's almost, I come to believe that we need those pain points, because those are the moments where people have an opportunity to grow.
Absolutely.
Right? As humans, and they can do the opposite too. But it's those if everything was just working, I would not have learned at least most of what I learned. Right? It was learned out of necessity. I had to hit a wall, stall, collaborate.
Yeah.
Right. Try R&D kind of stuff. But if things just kind of worked, I'd be like a rock.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's true with goal setting too. You know, if we're always setting the bar where we can hit the goal, we're not setting the bar high enough. You know, a lot of leadership trainers and business consultants, they teach people to make sure that they're setting the mark a little bit higher than they know that they can actually hit. And as a matter of fact, if you're just missing it every time, you're actually doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're
stretch out.
Yeah, you have to stretch.
Have you ever heard the concept like Dan Solo talks about 10x is easier than 2x?
Yeah.
Because with 10x you got to think, well, radically different versus 2x. It's just all incremental.
Absolutely.
Right. And kind of
Absolutely.
stuff. So you're in business. You had a setback, 2008. Then what? What happened next?
Yeah, so I had to get a couple of odd jobs here and there to make sure that we had money coming in, right? But in 2011, my wife and I started another business together. It was actually a jewelry company. We bought and sold, people's unwanted jewelry. It was a sort of like a pawn shop or a cash for gold location or something like that, except for we were like a little road show. People would have, it would be like almost like a Tupperware party, with mostly women. They would get a group of friends together. They would come with their old broken or unwanted jewelry, and we would test it, and we would buy the stuff that they didn't want, and we turned it into a fundraising model. So whatever profit we made, we would take a certain percentage of that profit and donate it to the charity of their choice. And so it was a pretty cool business, and it worked out really well for us. And at the about 6 months or 8 months or so into building that business, somebody recommended that I hire a coach. And I had no idea what life coaching was or leadership coaching was back then. And I was, like I said, I was a little bit arrogant when I was coming up. And I was
why do I need a coach?
Yeah, why would I need a coach? Like, what are they going to do? Come and tell me how to live my life or tell me what to do? I didn't get it. But this person was recommended to me by a source that I trusted. And so we tried him out, and it was a really transformational experience for both of us, my wife and I. Helped me become a better leader, helped me become a better business owner, helped me be more successful in a lot of different ways. And this was a pivotal moment for me because my role in our company was to build and develop our sales team. So my job was coaching, even though I didn't know that back then, right? And so this coach, he suggested to me, hey, Mick, why don't you go and get formally trained as a coach, because it'll make you a better leader and a better coach to your team and help you grow the business. So I thought that was sound advice, and I went and took a pretty rigorous year-long coaches training program, and became a coach, and he was right. Like, it really helped me grow the business and help me do it better and faster. But what I got from that whole experience that I wasn't expecting is I really fell in love with the idea of coaching for a living, right? Like going out and making a difference for other people, making a difference for employees inside of companies, and making a difference for businesses, helping them grow. And so I talked to my wife about it, and we decided I could take a small step away from the business we were growing together and build a part-time coaching business. But I put my head down to do that, and when I looked up, it was really kind of booming. It was more of a full-time thing that I created for myself. And so
that's awesome.
So yeah, we started downsizing the business from there, and a couple years later my wife got trained, and now we're in business together again in the coaching world, right? And it's been that way since about I started in 2013.
Yeah, it's funny because I had to be like in my 40s before I started understanding the value of like peer groups and coaching, that kind of stuff. I'm 53 now, so I'm in my 40s, and I come to realize that I'm originally Texan, Army, that kind of stuff. So the whole thing about do it yourself, figure
yeah.
it out, jump in,
Yeah.
that part was deeply ingrained. But the part of collaboration, have a group of people that you can bounce ideas off of, have a coach that can sometimes have tough conversations.
Oh yeah.
Right. If there's a stall point, it's probably me as a business owner.
Absolutely.
So that came late in the game. I think even culturally, that's kind of a new. And it's funny because every athlete they don't have a coach. They have a coach for the left elbow, the right elbow, the swing.
That's right.
Right, and they have coaches.
That's right.
But then you have people doing business, which is not easy.
Yeah.
Any business, right? There's challenges and people and the marketplace. But for so long, we didn't have coaches.
It's it's kind of mind-boggling when you think about it in that way, right? And I try to use those sorts of analogies when I'm talking about coaching with people that don't really understand why they don't see the value in it. They don't understand why they would, hire a coach on for themselves.
Got it all figured out.
Oh yeah, yeah. But you're exactly right. I mean, you look at these. Nobody in the world builds anything noteworthy, has any kind of noteworthy level of success without the support of other people, without the support of a team or a community. Like you keep using the word collaboration. We all need that. Yeah. We all need it.
Otherwise, there's blind spots.
Yeah, exactly.
In the business and relationships, I mean, open up, be connected.
Yeah, that's right.
If there's a better way, all you gotta do is be able to know the what and why, and then figure out the how kind of stuff. That's all it takes. So it's kind of a new age. So your coaching business became your main focus.
Yep.
And tell me about like what type of clients do you work with now?
Yeah. So in my experience, and I've also trained a lot of coaches, and I've coached a lot of other coaches and practicing while coming up and developing my business at the beginning. And my experience personally, and my experience watching, a lot of coaches build their businesses, at the beginning, you kind of go out and you'll coach anybody you can get your hands on, right? You want to get the experience, you want to get build your skills, get the hours so you can get certifications and all that stuff, start making some money
the income. I mean, I think most business owners who can help? Anybody.
Everybody.
Right? I'm throwing a wide net.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Scarcity mindset.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you find out, no, you really can't help anybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and so what I noticed for myself is I started attracting a lot of blue collar business owners. So like a home remodeling contractor, a roofing contractor, a commercial cleaning company, a bunch of them, a car detailing company, and so I was attracting a lot of those people. I think it's because it's that's my roots, right? Like I'm a blue collar kind of guy, right? Yeah. As when I talk to people a lot of the time on the phone that are inside of these businesses, they're like, oh, they recognize me. They're like, oh, you're one of us, and so there was the fact that I was just meeting these people, and they were for whatever reason interested in me and my service. But then I'm sitting down with a colleague of mine, another coach, and I was telling him about how much fun I was having, like working inside of these businesses. I can show up in jeans and boots. I don't have to wear a suit. Not that suits are bad. You look great in your suit.
So I look my best.
I had fun working with these guys, and coaching is traditionally reserved for your more white collar professional, And so one of the things about it that was so much fun for me is I was able to take this conversation or this language and translate it into a way that the blue collar folks could really resonate with and respect and see value in for themselves. Yeah. And I got pretty good at that. Yeah. I go into these situations and people are, I'm relatable to them, and so they'll open up to me and they'll start talking to me about what they really need, and I'm really able to help them. So I'm telling my colleague, my friend about all this stuff, and he's like, you could focus your business and create your programming around this sort of ideal client and target. And I said, I don't know why I didn't think about that idea myself, and you know that's how we got into it, and it's been like that ever since.
Yeah, it's so smart to niche in, but then you really
Yeah.
get into that's me language and
Yeah.
what in the 80-20 on what really moves them forward.
Absolutely.
So from an effectiveness standpoint, it's going off the charts. So
Yeah.
So that's is there anything that really stands out like that? That's pretty unique, right? I haven't heard that dialed in. Is there anything else that's really unique about you that you came to realize in your experience?
Well, you know, I don't know if it's unique about me, but I think the uniqueness is really in the approach. Mm-hmm. You know, like we don't really hold back. Like one of the things that I like to live by in my practice is to say the thing that might get me fired. Yeah. You know, to really like, because look, the people that I work with, they like people who shoot straight. You know, they like people who are gonna, you know, say it like it is.
No time for messing around.
I don't want to mess around. Just like, you know, give it to me straight. And so, you know, I like to say the thing that's really going to hit somebody between the eyes and get them, you know, and hit them in the heart too, right? Like, you know, get them to really feel what they need to, you know, succeed and think about things a little bit different. Think about things a little bit differently. Yeah. Yeah.
That's huge. Having somebody like walk on the eggshells, being afraid to rock the boat because it might lose a client, kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Not good for them and not good for the coach.
Exactly right.
Because it's just like avoiding the issues.
Yeah, I mean, eventually the client's going to fire you if you're not making a difference for them. You know, this isn't about having a nice conversation. You can go have a nice conversation with your buddy, you know, anytime you want to. But if you're going to pay good money to work with somebody like me, then you better be getting some value from it, and you better be able to measure it in a way that's meaningful to you. You know.
Yeah. Like every time, like what have you done for me lately? There's no what we did last year. That's last year. What's now, kind of stuff. Exactly. Especially like blue collar. I mean, it gets hit by market factors more than most industries. Like the housing market goes up and down.
Oh yeah.
If there's cost of capital inflation.
Oh yeah.
I mean the whole pricing thing, labor.
Yeah.
I'm hoping there's a resurgence somewhere as a country. We got away from. At one point, like the trade, like being a young man, lesser extent young woman going into trades, it meant something. You could take care of a family, you were respected among your peers, kind of stuff. And somewhere, I don't know why, somewhere we got away from that. Like you don't go to college, you ain't shit. I probably shouldn't say that, but right. We got away from it. I think it's coming back now, where people who can actually build something, who can actually do some, build, maintain.
We're hearing a lot more from people in the industry that recognize what you're talking about and that are putting out good content to try and attract the younger people into the industry again, or subset of industries, right, into the trades like you were talking about. Yeah. But there's still a pretty massive labor shortage in this country, and I'm not paying attention to it on a global scale, but I would assume that it's probably a global thing as well. But certainly in this country, we've got a pretty big labor shortage, like across the board.
What are you seeing?
I mean, it's like you said, for whatever reason, what I think is parents are teaching their kids that, you know, working with your hands, manual labor is beneath you. You know, you're not going to be able to make a good living that way. You're gonna struggle. You need to go to college and get a degree. My parents were like that. I told you, they were like, if you don't want to go to college, then we'll just keep our money. And I was like, but wait a minute, like I've got ideas, like I have energy, I want to do things. And they were like, nah, if you don't do it this way, then, you know.
Yeah, there's no value. We're not going to back buying a truck and doing the business kind of thing.
I saw this is a really successful business owner that I'm connected with on LinkedIn. He's a general contractor. And he told this story about how he's walking down the street with his son, and his son loves trucks. He loves any kind of truck, fire trucks, dump trucks, even trash trucks, right? And they walk by this big construction site, and you know it's fenced off and everything, as many construction sites are, and they've got all types of, you know, they got the cranes in there and the dump trucks and, you know, all this stuff, and the kid just stops and he's just like, in awe, staring at what's going on here. And so the dad walks his son over to the fence, and this superintendent comes over, and he's like, "Hey, you guys want to come in and check it out?"
That's fun.
He opens the gate. He allows this kid and his dad to come in and shows him around. But this whole post, it was a really cool story, right? Like really heartwarming story. But this whole post was about, why are we teaching our kids that this type of work is bad, that they can't be successful, and that there's no opportunity there? It's not right. It's not true in any sense, and it's just not right. Like, imagine if this kid, what if he wants to drive a trash truck? Yeah. Go ahead and drive go work on a trash truck.
Do your thing.
Do your thing. Like, be happy.
Have trust that whatever that
Exactly.
is inside, calling you in a certain direction. Follow those breadcrumbs.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of a perception of, or a fear of what the perception is if my kid is working on a trash truck. Yeah. And maybe that kid is going to grow up and build the next waste management to compete with them.
That's true, but why not? Whatever it is. I mean, if I'm driving the trash truck, why can't I have a decent life doing that?
Yeah.
Like that doesn't contribute to everyone's well-being. Why not? If you want to build the business, fine, but why not?
Yeah.
If I'm happy being the employee,
Exactly.
or whatever.
Exactly.
I was talking to this business owner, female business owner, mechanical engineering kind of stuff, and she's in California. In her area, there's only like 90% of women in that field. And then she was telling me that like commercial refrigeration kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
There's a shortage of like 190,000. I mean, commercial that's good. That's a good profession. You go.
I know a guy who he took over he's now the CEO of the company, and he's taking it over from his father, and it's that they're a maintenance company in the refrigeration.
Massive opportunities.
Oh yeah, huge.
Any skill, plumbing, electrical. I mean, massive opportunities.
You can literally, first of all, you can start in one of those professions really quickly. With the apprenticeship model, you can go out right away and start making money. That's how I did it. Yeah. I was working for a tile contractor as a helper, carrying buckets and mixing concrete, and that's how I started, right? But then, the average trade school, I think, is only about 18 months to 2 years. Some are even less than that, and you can go out and start making really, really good money. And there are statistics that are out there that you can look up right now, and statistically, within about 4 years, those people have earned more money than a person with a college degree after they've been working for 4 years.
Yeah, real work, real value, and bring back the honor and respect. There's something like with all this need out there. There's still something like 7 million men who are on the sidelines, like working age men who could, which
is ridiculous to me, because the last I heard, there was like 1.5 or 1.7 jobs per person that is unemployed right now, and so like there's a ton of opportunity, and people just don't want to take it.
Yeah, and you go as far as you want it. So just imagine the untapped human potential to be part of something, whatever it is, right? So I think what you're doing is really good, because you get in there, you're coaching the business owners, you work with their management team, so everybody's lifting their skills up.
Yeah.
The owners and the team, the managers are doing well, employees are doing well, families are doing well, they're all doing better, right?
Exactly.
Better decision making, better skills. And one of the beautiful things about people, different than AI. Like AI learns it instantly. All subjects ever known to man.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing about people is a journey, right? We step out, we try a few things, get kicked in the face, get back up, do it differently, learn, collaborate, that kind of stuff. And so I think what you're doing to bring people along it's so valuable.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that. It's it's a really great business, and it's a feel good business for me, like I actually feel good when I get to work with somebody and they have one of those aha moments, right? Or, they're sure that they need to go this direction, and I ask them some questions and just poke around and get curious with them about what their plans are, and then all of a sudden they have, they see a new direction, or they shift the plan in such a way that makes them become a lot more successful than they even thought. I mean, that's
beautiful.
It's really rewarding. And the thing that you said about families too, like that's really the bottom line for me, because people that go every day to a really stressful work environment.
Oh, it's not fun. Come home.
They come home and it's coming out in ways that that it shouldn't, and that affects family life, and it can be a bummer.
Yeah, there's plenty across all types of work. There's plenty of kids who've seen their mom or dad leave in the morning to go to work.
Yeah.
They're not quite sure what happens, but they know when the parent comes home, they're not in a good mood.
Yeah, just
right.
When they come home, stay away.
It kind of may take the joy out of being part of something, working kind of thing.
Yeah.
So from a family standpoint, how's your family now? Like from age, how old are your kids now?
Oh yeah, so they're 20, 22, and 24.
Nice, man.
Yeah. They all have summer birthdays, so they all just turn the corner this summer.
That's awesome. So in that 20-something, learning how to become useful thing. And so what's your vivid vision? Like, where does this take you where do you see yourself and your family at whatever point in the future? What's that vision like?
Oh man. Well, at this stage, I want to, and a lot of people could probably resonate with this. I want to do it a little bit different than my parents did with me, right? So the way that we've been about it, and our plan for, supporting our kids is, whatever they want to do, we'll, within reason, we'll support them. And so, they're all finding their way. None of them are like super sure what they want to do for themselves and their future. But our stand for them and our commitment is that we're going to support them no matter what. Yeah. And for us, I mean, we just want to make the biggest difference that we possibly can. Our vision for our company is infinite power and prosperity for every single member of the blue collar workforce. Yeah. And that's something that is, that's a huge vision. It's something that may never happen in our lifetime. And so collaboration is going to be key. We want to build something that's way bigger than we are. We have a vast network of coaches that are very well trained, people that we could trust with our clients. And so we're looking to build something that that grows into the future forever. So yeah. And there's a lot of different service providers that we're looking to partner up with too. I mean, one of the things that got us pretty fired up about working inside of the blue collar industries is the construction industry actually has the highest rate of suicide than any other industry.
Really?
Yeah, I mean it's up there with it's number one or number two. Yeah. And one of the reasons I think that is because there's this sort of macho kind of culture or attitude that's kind of rampant throughout the industries that if you're not feeling up to it, you need to suck it up and get back out there and do it anyway. If you get hurt, you need to rub some dirt in it and keep moving forward, right? You don't talk about anything that's bothering you. You have some anxiety or depression or things not working well at home with the spouse, alcoholism, addiction. You keep it down. Don't talk about that to anybody, because you're going to get made fun of. You're going to get ridiculed. You're going to get marginalized and So
you want to change that. You want to bring the human aspect.
Yeah.
And actually build things. Be a human.
Yeah.
Collaborate with different people.
Yeah, so our big vision for the future, we're going to continue with the coaching and the leadership development training and culture development work that we do, and we also want to bring in other modalities, other service providers, like get supported by therapists and other sorts of spiritual leaders and practitioners and things like that, so that we can help plug people into the resources that they need in order to get healthy and well, and again, be, their most powerful selves so that they can be as prosperous as they possibly can.
Yeah, that's a beautiful vision. Worth doing. So when people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
Well, I guess that they can look me up on LinkedIn, and they can go to our website, it's carbocoaching.com. We've got a couple of videos on there that they could check out to learn a little bit more about who we are, read the website, and find out, more about what we do and how we do it, and why we do it, and yeah, that's probably the easiest way.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Good deal. So thank you again. So there you have it. That's the story for Mick. Mick, thank you. Right, that's a beautiful journey, and you get a lot more ahead of you.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. We got a long ways to go, man. Yeah, and thanks for having me, Kirk. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. You're gonna start that ripple effect. So 500 years from now, it plays out, and humans are better.
Yeah, humans are better, and the trades are getting lots of support from the people that they need to grow.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with that, see you soon.